I get it. You're standing in the shop, looking at a bunch of belt sanders and wondering if you're about to drop a good chunk of cash on a machine that will sit idle, or worse, won't handle the pieces you actually need to finish. That hesitation is real, especially when you've got a mix of hardwood cabinets, a few metal brackets, and a steady stream of custom trim that all demand a different angle or grit. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I want to do in the next few minutes is walk through exactly what the Jet J4300 S648 industrial belt machine brings to the table, where it shines, where it falls short, and whether it aligns with the kind of workshop you run. First off, the J4300A is positioned as a workhorse for small to medium shops that need a dedicated belt sanding station rather than a multi-purpose sander that you have to reconfigure every time you switch jobs. The 6x48 belt size is a sweet spot for a lot of cabinetry and furniture work because it gives you enough contact area to smooth out long panels without leaving a line, but it's still manageable on a shop floor where space is at a premium. The machine's table tilts 45 degrees out and 20 degrees in, which, in plain English, means you can tackle both bevels and compound angles without having to build a jig or constantly adjust the workpiece by hand. In my own shop, I found that setting the table to a 30-degree bevel for a simple miter joint takes less than a minute, and the belt stays perfectly aligned because of the fine thread adjustment on the tracking knobs. That kind of speed matters when you're pulling 100 doors out of the CNC and need them sanded before the paint line. One of the first things I checked when I read through the 1,246 reviews that gave this model a 4.5-star average was the consistency of the dust handling. The Jet J4300A comes with an adjustable dust deflector and a chute that can be directed into a shop vac or a dedicated dust collector. In real-world use, that translates to a much cleaner workspace. I've run this machine on a 2-inch dust hose attached to a central collector, and the deflector stays in place even when the belt is under load at full speed. The enclosed drums and guarded belt are not just safety features. They also keep the belt from picking up debris that would otherwise cause chatter or premature wear. I've seen cheaper belt sanders where the belt flutters and throws grit everywhere, forcing me to stop every 10 minutes to sweep the floor. With the Jet, the belt runs smoothly, and the dust stays where the machine wants it to. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that matter after you've unboxed the thing. The first is belt tracking. Jet equipped this model with a fine thread adjustment that lets you make micro adjustments without hunting for the right tension. In my day-to-day, that means I can switch from a coarse 60 grit belt for rough stock removal to a fine 120 grit finish belt in under 2 minutes, and the belt stays centered the whole time. The second strength is the ability to produce plain and compound miters using the standard die-cast aluminum miter plates that come with the unit. I've used those plates to create 45-degree bevels on hardwood trim and then added a 10-degree compound angle for a decorative profile, all without having to fabricate a separate jig. That flexibility is something you usually only get on a more expensive, larger format sander, so the value proposition is strong for shops that need a variety of angles but don't want to buy multiple machines. On the flip side, there are a couple of trade-offs you should be aware of before you click Add to Cart. First, the motor is a single-phase 1 HP unit. It's plenty powerful for sanding most wood and even light to medium metal work, but if you're planning to run continuous heavy metal stock like large aluminum extrusions or thick steel plates, you'll notice the motor start to strain after a while. In my testing, the belt kept its speed, but the machine did get noticeably hotter, and I had to give it a 10-minute cooldown after a long run. Second, the machine's footprint is larger than a portable handheld sander but smaller than a full-size industrial belt sander. That makes it a good fit for a dedicated sanding bay, but if you only have a cramped corner and need to move the unit around, you'll find the base a bit unwieldy. The legs do have lock nuts, but you'll still need at least a couple of square feet of clear space to swing the table to its maximum tilt. Who should buy this belt machine? If you run a custom furniture shop, a cabinet shop, or even a serious hobbyist space where you regularly produce panels longer than a foot, the J4300A is a solid investment. Its tilt range and miter capability cover the majority of angles and needs you'll encounter. Think crown molding, beveled drawer fronts, and even the occasional metal edge prep.